shut your mouth. Unless this fact finders, get out of my house. Practice patience. This monster is unopened. That's very important for you to know. I remember very clearly when I first saw Israel Adesanya fight. By this point, I'd been an MMA fan for many years, and I remember seeing him come up in the AFC and feeling a real sense of excitement, sure, but also relief. The sport was just getting a little stagnant. I'd not seen anything new, anything truly different, anything that gave me butterflies since Conor McGregor's early run. Issy came in like a tonic, like a lava flow, reigniting my passion for something that I hold very central to my identity, that is so very important to me, that I cannot contemplate losing my love for without feeling a very real, powerful sense of loss. And he's continued to stand out in a sea of remarkable people. No one fights like Adesanya, no one moves like Adesanya, no one holds himself like Adesanya, and no one thinks and philosophises like Adesanya. And you better believe those things are all very much connected. When I've spoken about MMA mindset before, I've spoken about advanced problem solving and training your mind to deal with discomfort. But Issy is the problem that the middleweight division just cannot solve. It's important for you to know that it is possible to just blockheadedly tough out discomfort. Warrior mindset doesn't always rely on intelligence, but what Issy does, and what we're going to talk about today, relies on a much higher level of thinking, incredible cognition and self-awareness, and this is what sets him apart. From an outside perspective, Issy's rise to the top seems to have had a clear, undisturbed trajectory. Undefeated in the middleweight division, you'd think that the rest of the weight class offers no challenge for Adesanya, but Issy's secret is in always being in the mindset of the challenger. Many fighters talk about champion mindset, but Issy and his coach Behrman see things differently. They don't get comfortable at the top because they know that this is the champion's downfall. People get soft when they revel in success and all the luxuries that come with it. If you think that the onus is on your opponent to work hard to knock you off the top, then you'll allow them to do just that. Just because Issy has the belt, he knows that this is not the time to rest. In fact, Issy says he rarely even thinks about being champion. With each new fight that comes along, they attack the challenge with the same hunger as they did when he was working his way up. Perhaps this drive to always be that hungry up-and-comer links so intrinsically with Issy's identity and his mental well-being. Perhaps the grind is so ingrained in who he is that what he once pictured as the pinnacle of success and everything he was working towards only led to disappointment in reality. Issy talks about mental health in a way that I wish was commonplace, not only in professional sport, but in workplaces, schools, friendship groups, and families. He's both open about his struggles and logical in his outlook. He's spoken extensively about the depression he went through after he beat Whittaker and first became middleweight champion, when he first achieved everything he'd been working for, when he realised everything that he'd wanted for so long. This feeling that on the surface seems to be at odds with his external world spurred Issy on to start working with a therapist, and he feels no stigma about this decision. He says we don't think twice about going to see a doctor when we're not physically feeling well, so why do we feel such an aversion to see one when we're mentally not feeling well? And beyond this, people are proactive in looking after their physical health, but they don't do the same to look after their mental health. Mental health check! I checked. I'm fucked. Adesanya believes in not running from your problems. Meet them head on, solve them, be happier in the long run. Macho bullshit and ignorance have no place in Issy's mindset. By watching this video, you're also choosing to meet your problems head on, even if you don't know that's what you're doing yet. Perhaps you've been on this do-it-yourself mental health journey for a while, perhaps you're just starting out, but Issy drew the map and you are about to get some really great directions. Let's hit the road, eh? You packed the snacks, right? Sweet. I've got the playlist. Still closed. I got this cushion for you. Every journey has a destination, right? Not this one. Dick. Issy used to think becoming UFC middleweight champion was the destination. And when he got there, his brain didn't know how to react to the change, the perceived lack of challenge, the new world, and he got depressed. But now Issy knows that the journey is not about the outcome. Like I said, he rarely even thinks about the fact that he's a champion in the biggest and most talent-filled MMA organization in the world. He doesn't sit and stew in the fruits of his success. He keeps his mind on the struggle, on the work, on getting better, on tending the garden that he's standing in. He trains for the fight right in front of him, and he doesn't see, excuse me, and he doesn't see success as a shiny belt. You may think that you want something with every fibre of your being, whether that's a certain status, a material belonging, a physical entity. But what happens when you get it? And what happens when you don't? Being fixated on an outcome can help to motivate you to keep achieving and growing, but you're more likely to be happy to sustain mental well-being and achieve more if the motivation is in the work itself, if you enjoy the journey. Of course you need goals in order to have direction, but there is this prevailing theory that in order to be a good adult, you need to have tangible, certain, unwavering goals that motivate you to get up in the morning and work hard. And of course, Issy had such goals, and it did drive him to achieve perceived greatness and one hell of a status. But when he got there, his internal world didn't feel that great. And in reality, very few people have such defined goals. They may think they do, but really they're just moulding themselves around the goals that society sets for them. You'll know how I feel about the structures of society. Fuck off, society. Society. They set goals to buy a house, get married, have kids. But is this what they really want? Is this what you really want? Maybe. Maybe not. To find out, all we need to do is ask why. Let's look at buying a house as an example. Imagine your biggest life goal is to own property. You don't work your entire life for a pile of bricks. So what is it about owning a house that really appeals to you? For a lot of people, it's financial freedom and security. Many people believe that buying a house is the first step to wealth, as property often increases in value. For others, it can mean belonging, a place where you can truly be yourself and feel comfortable. And for others, it's expression, somewhere you can mould to be an extension of your identity. But rarely is the goal really to buy a house. Buying the house is just a way to gain that feeling, but it's not the only way. By delving into your goal and asking why you actually want it, it immediately becomes more flexible. You realize, yes, you could achieve this feeling by buying a house, but there are also other ways to work towards wealth, belonging, and expression. And now, you have options and flexibility. Now you can explore the path forward that is fulfilling in itself, the journey that you are going to enjoy. What are you two up to? Keep it clean, kids. No journey is completely smooth. At some point you're gonna hit some bumps in the road. And Issy handles pressure better than most. His confidence in himself is what guides him through this unstable terrain. He rose up through the UFC quickly and gained a lot of increasingly pressurized fights in a short amount of time, and he tends to thrive in environments that break many others. Issy says this confidence comes from two places. Firstly, the work he puts in. You can't skip or fake your way through this step. His self-belief is rooted in reality because he does the work and sees the results. He's not delusional in his abilities. He knows exactly how good he is. Our inner critics are all arseholes. But if you know you've worked your arse off to get where you are, if you know you put your all in, you'll know when it's your inner critic talking, and you can call them out on their bullshit. Secondly, his confidence carries him because of how he talks to himself. There is no room for self-doubt in the Adesanya mindset. To get yourself a slice of this positive mindset pie, you need to face your inner critic head on and catch it, challenge it, change it. Catch it. Set yourself some timers on your phone to check in with your inner monologue. Over time you'll start to do it by yourself, but as with any new habit, at the start it's going to take some conscious effort. When the alarm goes off, think about the last few things you said to yourself in your little brain box. Didn't mean to say little. Mine was, why are you still busting your balls? No one watches these things anyway. Harsh. You can often spot negative self-talk by the absolutes, the all or nothing mentality. No one watches these. Nothing good ever happens to me. I always mess things up. Our inner critic is a fucking drama queen, and they tend to like absolutes because it's the quickest way to break a spirit. If nothing good was ever gonna happen to you, you'd quickly stop trying, which brings us on to challenge it. I bet you can think of a time when something good happened, or you didn't mess something up. And I can bob on my YouTube insights and see the numbers of people that do watch these videos, or I can watch back the footage I have of Rose telling me how boss it is that I just go for shit like this. Are you familiar with the Madonna song, Unapologetic Bitch? No, I'm not. Nor am I, but they mention it sometimes on RuPaul. I saw you and I was like, this gal knows what she wants. And you just do it! Or the note Rach wrote me that says I inspire her. Challenge the thought with evidence that proves it's a bunch of bull. Finally, change the thoughts. Write down all of the evidence that you think of that goes against what your inner critic is telling you. Look at the list regularly and add to it every time you think of something badass about yourself. And then use this to rephrase the thought. You're working hard because it's worth it. You've already inspired a few people, and if you can just inspire one more, then you've done good, kid. Into the wilds. If the path gets really rocky, you might just find yourself tripping up and stumbling off it. But if you've done the work to detach from the outcome, it's not a devastation, just a detour. Adesanya has only suffered one loss in professional MMA. I bet the first time you lost at anything, you didn't handle it with grace and elegance. You probably threw yourself on the floor and tantrumed until the pain went away. And I'd also be willing to bet this loss didn't occur in front of the eyes of the entire world. But you are not Adesanya. Not yet, anyway. This one loss came at the hands of Jan Blachowicz, as Issy took on a champion from a higher weight class, trying to join that exclusive club of two division champs. And it wasn't a complete washout. The two champions went at it for 5 rounds and left the answer in the hands of the judges. Why is this a pain in the fucking ass? Maybe trying to offer some misguided comfort, maybe because they believe in and need to believe in the excellence of Adesanya. There were those close to him that said that he won that fight. But Issy sees no benefit in clinging to this hope. He rebuffed their compliments and embraced the loss. He went back to the drawing board and improved. And he offers this wisdom to his past opponents. He says, give it a week and then look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, Israel is better than you, but I'm going to get better from this. This links back to how Issy talks to himself. He didn't beat himself up about losing, about getting that first blemish on his record. He didn't call himself a failure. He didn't throw in the towel. He just recognized room for growth and went for it. Next time you find yourself spinning a negative yarn about something that didn't quite go to plan, I want you to stop and reframe it. I'm not asking you to see the positives straight away. I just want you to look at it realistically, like Issy, and stop yourself descending into a failure spiral. Take a week to disconnect from it emotionally, and then look at it from a neutral standpoint. Objectively look at the who, what, where, when, and why to get a clearer view of the situation. In this exercise, you are a journalist. There's no room for bias. You're just looking for facts. You're a good moral journalist. Okay, you're an imaginary journalist. No room for bias. For example, a couple of weeks ago, my reels on Instagram went from regularly getting somewhere around 3,000, 5,000 views to less than 100. I hadn't changed my strategy, and my initial reaction was to cry about it, screaming, I don't understand what happened, and oh, the algorithm. But that is a victim mentality, and it's not going to help me. So instead I applied this technique. Who? Me and the Instagram community. What? Reels reach has dropped and doesn't seem to be going back up. Where? Online. When? End of June. Why? I've been lazy. I have zero hashtag strategy. I usually rush my Reels plan for the week. I've been spending less time on Reels, so I'm getting less ideas. I do not engage. And I don't know I'm always providing value. That's probably not even the full list, but there's a lot there for me to change, just as a starting point to recover from this loss. Of course, you could always make your journey smoother by actively tending to your path. While the detours, obstacles, and roadblocks are perfect opportunities for growth, a lot of them can be avoided by tending to yourself in the present. Adesanya does this by being proactive with multiple aspects of his well-being. First is patience. Have you ever wondered how some people can get a rise out of certain fighters just with a slight hint of trash talk, whereas others, you can put them in a room with Colby Covington and they retain their zen? Israel puts it down to a long, long fuse. Oi. And may I also say, oi. He says, you say something about me, about my country, my people, it's personal, but I don't take it personally, and that's the difference. I keep on saying, practice patience. But how the hell do... But how the hell do you practice patience I need to know. In this modern world, we want everything instantly. We want to order something online and receive the package the next day. We want to hit a button that says food and be eaten within minutes. We want to send a friend a message and hear back instantly. So a simple way to practice patience is to just make yourself wait. Take time cooking a meal, then savor every bite. Write letters to your friends instead of WhatsApping them. Go out to buy what you need, enjoying the walk each way. I've been wanting to drink this monster since before you and I started chatting. It may seem silly, but I've been making myself wait. It's about discipline, and once you've cracked it, you can apply it to all areas of your life and start to make more considered decisions rather than cracking under perceived pressure. Next, authenticity. Issy has never shied away from expressing who he is, what he likes, and what makes him unique. He has an intense love of anime, a creativity to his personal style, and he's a massive nerd. And due to all this authentic expression, the internet immediately labelled him as gay. It doesn't matter that it's not true, it's this small-minded, bigoted idea that one, that's a bad thing, and two, that dyeing your hair pink or dressing in extravagant dressing gowns has anything to do with sexual preference. Practice patience. My point is this: there are many idiots in the world, and many of them seem to like both MMA and talking shit online, but Issy continues to be himself. He says that being himself means that he doesn't have to live in fear that someone else will use his truth against him. He puts it all out there and he just owns it. Next, how do you stay calm in a crazy world? If you want to understand how to control your fear and use it as fuel, then check out my MMA mindset video. But this is for everyday regulation of the sympathetic nervous system, not when you're facing a bear or jumping off a mountain. Adesanya practices earthing, which can also be referred to as grounding, to get himself in balance. Earthing is about connecting the human body to the Earth's surface electrons, and some studies have shown it can have some pretty big benefits, such as better sleep and reduced pain, simply from walking barefoot outside, swimming in wild waters, gardening, or just physically connecting to the earth in any way that suits you. Issy also understands the need for humans to disconnect. He's building himself a haven on a large piece of land where he dreams of having alpacas and pigs and chickens to join the dogs that he already has. And in this haven, social media is not an invited guest. Israel speaks about getting away from Instagram and turning off the news to stop this constant influx of sadness through the eyeballs and just breathing. If you want to learn about how to start a healthier relationship with social media, then definitely check out my comparison video. Issy is the kind of fighter that you see evolving with every fight. No middleweight can figure him out. His rhythm, his movement, the way he blends martial arts with dance, with anime. This constant evolution is what sets the legends apart from the showmen who land in the UFC with an exclamation mark but quickly get outclassed by the next generation. Issy is the kind of fighter who will be schooling generations for years to come. Isn't that how you'd like to be leading the domain that you play in? Missed you. Take care of your... Can't speak anymore. Take care of your growth mindset and clear the path to better things.